Welcome to the Unshakable Growth. I'm Esti, and let's get started.
Welcome back to the Unshakable Growth podcast. Today I'm joined by one of my best friend Yvonne, who truly embodies the journey of exploration and self-discovery. Welcome to my podcast, Yvonne.
Hi, Esti. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm very glad to be here today. Thank you for inviting me. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to have you here. Originally from Indonesia, Yvonne has worked in the hospitality industry across different continents, from Japan to Australia, gathering rich experience and perspective along the way. Now at 27, she's still figuring out her next step and embracing the beautiful unknown. And here's the real message that I wanted to deliver in this episode. Feeling a little bit lost is perfectly okay. Life isn't about rushing to the finish line, and it's about savoring the journey, picking up lessons, and evolving every step along the way. Now let's dive into Yvonne's story and all that she has learned from her adventure. So currently, Yvonne is now based in Indonesia. She just moved back 2 weeks ago. So yeah, let's dive into it. How are you feeling back home in Indonesia right now, Yvonne?
Pretty good, I guess. Because I've only been here for 2 weeks, so it still feels like a holiday, like a short
Yeah.
holiday. It
Mm-hmm.
hasn't really sunk in yet, that feeling. But yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to take a little bit of rest. And then I guess I'm already starting to take the next step to see what I can do while I'm here.
Yeah, because I guess you live in and work in a few different continents. Like just now I mentioned, you did work in Japan before and also in Australia. Across these three places, is there any unique perspective that you gain from each different location, and how has those experience actually shaped your approach to life?
Basically, my whole career has been centered around hospitality. So I've been doing like hotel jobs, different kind of hotel jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was in Japan, I actually did my internship there for 6 months
Yeah.
and worked in a hotel, food and beverage at a five-star hotel. And then most of my experience is actually in Australia in hotels as well. When I was in Japan, I think it was a good experience to work there when I was still a student, when I was still, like trying to learn my ways around the industry. And learning from the Japanese people, because I work with Japanese people and quite a few international as well, I learned the value of mindfulness and attention to details. Very cliche, I guess, for Japanese workplace, but
Yeah.
it was true. So they're really efficient. They're really like they want to give all they can to the guest, which like it was really good base for me to start in hospitality. And yeah, they emphasize respect and dedication to the guests, and that whole journey reminded me over and over to be present and also intentional in everything that I do. And then in Australia,
Mm-hmm.
very different approach to the same industry as well. So,
Yeah.
as you know, Australia is very laid back. The culture is very laid back, and there's a, you know, there's a journey to find balance between work and also just like your life.
Yeah.
So, after I went back to Australia, worked there, lived there for a long time, I've learned the importance of enjoying life while also doing my best at work. So yeah, that balance between work and life, and also I guess the laid back attitude of the people as well that I met, that I work with. Um, it shaped me into who I am today. I
Mm-hmm.
actually used to be really really shy as well, especially when I
Yeah.
was still in school, even up to maybe like middle of my university days. I guess I was
Mm-hmm.
really really shy. Of course, like once I step into uni, I would try my best to, like be out there. But still, it was really hard. It was really hard. But I guess, getting to know more people and
Mm-hmm.
talking to more people, then it kind of like opened me up. And I guess also because of age, as you age, you just kind of like care less about the small things.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, it's been a fun journey in hospitality.
Yeah. I guess it's really same to me as well. When you grow older and when you age a little bit more, you tend to care less about what people think about you, and you just do what resonates with you and what's most important to you. And it was really interesting to hear your story of the comparison between two different countries, like in Japan and in Australia, because they are two. I believe the culture from these two countries is really different. Like in Japan, it's like really rigid and very structured, but in Australia, I guess
Mm,
it's more of go with the flow, and yeah.
yeah, definitely.
So I'm just wondering, those two experience that you gained from these two different countries, how has those experience actually shaped your perspective on both life and career? Like, does that makes you different, or in your on a personal level specifically? Um, how does those two different experience shape them?
I guess I kind of found a balance, like a middle between the two different approaches.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, in the workplace, you know, I'm very serious about my work, like really, really serious about it, and I pay a lot of attention into details as well.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I don't want to force this to other people.
Yeah.
So it's like a very kind of like more Japanese, more rigid way, and then the Australian way. You know, that I guess also because the younger people nowadays are very different from, I guess, our generation.
Yeah.
So you gotta find that balance as well. So I'm more laid back, I'm more open, I'm more honest with the people that I work with,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I guess having that balance between work and also, trying to get along with people at work is really good, because the last role that I did was actually supervisor
Mm-hmm.
at front office, and before that it was reservation, and it helped me kind of like I guess do well in my role, because I have to kind of like work with the managers, but at the same time I also have to take care of the staff who are working with me.
Yeah.
So knowing when to be serious and then also kind of like be more relaxed really helped me get into this position.
Yeah.
And as in the my personal life, I guess it's the same thing. I don't know if it's a good thing or not. So, like attention to detail definitely help a lot in
Mm-hmm.
in so many things. Like money management, time management really helped me a lot. And then enjoying my life to the fullest with the budget that I have. So yeah, it's a good mix between the two in the end.
Yeah. I think from what you have shared, I can conclude that you really want to do what you can do best for yourself, implement what you, or control things that within your control area, and do the best and provide the best that you can. But for other people, you are more lenient and you're trying to blend in with their culture. Yeah.
I guess so.
But
Yeah,
I
I guess
guess
so.
there's a good balance as well, because you can't always micromanage or make people work
Mm,
your way, right? You have to adapt to
yeah,
different culture or different working style with different people.
yes, absolutely correct.
Yeah. And I do know that around our age, mid 20s to 30s, a lot of people feel pressure to have everything figured out by certain age. And it's like, oh, you're at mid 20s or 30s, it's time for you to get married, to buy a house, buy a car. So, how do you personally cope with the feeling of not knowing your big plan yet? Specifically now that you have moved from Australia back to Indonesia, and not knowing what's the future looking like for you.
Yeah. I guess a lot of people would relate with me that being in a position where you don't know whether to keep going or, like completely change your path.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the first step that I did was accepting the situation
Yeah.
that, okay, I don't know what I should do now. Like I want to change something about my life, but I don't know what I want to do. So, accepting that, and then also, I guess the second step for me, even though I'm at loss, normally people will have something that they can still do. Maybe not like really really good at it, but they can do something. And I guess for me, my main motivation for doing things would be more about like money.
Yeah.
So I want to work for money, and then you know like you mentioned before that I am working in Indonesia. Not exactly, but I'm actually working. So for the listeners, I teach Japanese online. It's
Yeah.
just like a side gig that I started during COVID because obviously I was very lost at the time. Our industry was crumbling, and yeah, it was sinking. So you know, for a few months, I had a really hard time, thinking what should I do because we don't know when this would end, right? So first thing I did was accept it. Second step was, seeing what I can do at the time, even though I might not exactly have a skill in this, but I can do it in the meantime while I'm figuring out things to do, and then just do it.
Yeah.
I guess in the end, you just have to do it while decide. But I don't really pressure myself anymore now that I'm in this position for the second time. So take your time. Of course, not to the point that you don't actually think about it. Take your time, but think about it, and yeah, just plan forward. If it's meant to be, like if something is meant for you, it will come for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess just enjoying the process would be the key to not feeling, too left out, too lost in this. And yeah, with my Japanese lesson, my Japanese course as well, I started it as a just like as a side gig, as a hobby. So I have something to do
Yeah.
besides helping with my family business. And then it somehow, I guess because I put a lot of effort into it, so people actually start coming to me. They want to learn, blah blah blah. I ended up actually employing like a few more people. So
Wow.
yeah, it grew. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it became a pretty good side gig at the time,
Yeah.
and even now it's still ongoing as well. Not as active and not as good as before, like in terms of the size, but it's still kind of like going. We are still present. We are still there, and we are still teaching. Just at our own pace for me and my teachers.
Yeah. I really like it. Like how you say it's the first step is to accept the fact.
Mhm.
Accept that you're not knowing what the future has for you, but accept it. And I guess embracing the journey as well. Do what you can during that time of not knowing what the end goal
Mhm.
is, but being able to embrace and enjoy the process is really important. And along the way, you never know what will you achieve, right?
Yeah.
Just like what you have for
Exactly.
your Japanese language class side gig. So it started as a
Yeah.
hobby, and now it ended up like a real business, and even employing a few teachers to teach the
Yeah.
students. Yeah, I really like that. It's a journey of what you have there.
Mhm.
And in regards to embracing uncertainty, what are some of the most fulfilling or surprising moments that you have experienced while figuring things out along the way?
I guess just like the story that I just told you.
Mm.
So, I started something just out of curiosity, just because I wanted to do something, I wanted to try. And it actually became something that I'm proud of. So the Japanese language course. Not only that I managed to actually make the lessons, and then also I managed to employ some people and created kind of like a brand of my business. So it's surprising to see how many people actually followed and recognized my work, especially at the time. So yeah, I guess I feel fulfilled when people come to me like and say thank you and they want to learn. And even there was a few times where people just like message me on Instagram, like on my business account, and then they want to take lessons, and they said, can I request for a specific teacher? I said, yeah, sure, sure, like we'll see what we can do. But they wanted me to teach them, but at the time I was not available because obviously I was back in Australia and I had like a full-time job and was doing something else as well. So yeah, but I felt very honored to be in that position, like even though at the time, I was not as active as when I first started, the first years when I started, but people still remember, or they even look at the YouTube that I created for my business as well. And, I guess I made an impression to people. So I felt good about it. And, it kept me going to
Yeah.
this business. And also, I guess another fulfilling or surprising moment would be like, even though I have been shy all the time, and I've always shied away from stepping into higher roles with more responsibility
Yeah.
because I didn't feel ready. So this was actually like one of my issues that I felt was hindering my growth. But it's been surprising to hear from the people around me, like my colleagues and my friends and my parents as well, who I just recognize my potential and they also encourage me to take on more. I have some colleagues and some friends even who also told me that they think that I'm capable, that I can do those jobs. And yeah, I just, even though in the end, I didn't really have time to actually step up into that because of the visa issue and stuff.
Yeah.
But, it really gave me the motivation, and I guess it kind of like lifted me up to really push myself the next chance that I have. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's been great, but it's still a long, long journey.
Yeah, I really like how you share with me about your journey of especially the Japanese class where you started with doing um, some videos on YouTube and then
Mm.
until getting people to comment or even reach out to you personally to get you to be their
Mhm.
mentor in terms of the Japanese class. It's those little things that these little wins that we had along the way, it's really motivating because it's not easy to set up a business and it's a long way to
Mm.
go. And also because you started as a hobby, not thinking
Yeah,
that it will become a real business.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's really
that's true.
motivating to hear that people actually see your effort and started to
Mm.
comment and even reach out to you to get you to be their teacher. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's such a good thing to hear about because I can resonate with this so deeply as I started my YouTube and podcast journey. I
Mm.
think in July itself. So it has been about 4 months now. So yeah, I there are days that I really feel down where I feel like I'm
Mm.
not going anywhere. I'm just doing videos and nobody's watching them. But there are days also people are commenting and liking those videos and
Mm.
which really keeps me going as well. So I really like
It's
that.
only starting.
And a lot of people define success as having a great career, like what I mentioned just now, they bought a home or moving on to the next stage of life, getting married and things like that. How do you actually define success as you move through different phase of life and especially moving into different countries?
Mm. For me, I guess it's very normal, but when I was in my early 20s,
Yeah.
I really had that kind of pressure. I guess I'm kind of lucky that my parents, they are not really that traditional um, Asian, like Indonesian parents who want you to get married at like 22, 23. But at that time, when I was 22 and 23, a lot of people started getting married and they posted their like new roles, new business on LinkedIn and stuff. And you always get that, I'm happy for you, but now I feel pressured about it,
The
you know.
peer
I
pressure.
always had that moment, yeah. But as I age again, and
As you
as
age.
I guess as I go through more in life, um, I just think that success is what you define it to be.
Mm-hmm.
For me, before, even now, actually, I would think that I'm successful if I have a lot of money.
Mm.
Of course, now that is still my goal, but now, like I've had I've had moments where I have to kind of like stop and kind of like look back into my life. And, I just realized, of course, there are so many other things that I would say I'm so lucky. And, people, not everyone can have this. And I'm just so lucky. I think, like in this side, I made it in life. For example, in the family and my
Mm-hmm.
friendship, I would say I made it. I made
Yeah.
it because I love my family. My family is very healthy and really nice. They support me in everything I do, and they have, like, their faith in me, in my future too. And then as friends, for example, I have you. I met you,
Yeah.
and we're still here
Yeah.
right now. I'm not the best at keeping in touch with um, my friends,
Yeah.
especially, but
I can
even
tell.
my family. But the people that I consider as friends, the very small circle of friends that I have,
Mm.
I'm proud to say that they've got my back and I've got their back as well. And if I ever need anything, I know I have
Yeah.
some people that I can lean on. And now after 26 years, 27 years, I have a boyfriend.
Mm.
And then, yeah, my boyfriend has been my biggest support system as well in everything. And he has this blind faith in me, in my life, in my future. So I guess that's a really, really, big
Yeah.
push for me to just
Mm.
like do things.
I think sometimes you just need to go all out and put that trust in that person.
Yeah.
It's just like what you say, right? I had your back and you had my back. It's the same for
Mm.
relationship as well. Yeah. And I really
Yeah.
also like one more thing that you mentioned just now, and I can hear that there's a mindset shift over there, because in the beginning, I think money was the main priority for you.
Mm.
But now it's more towards I wouldn't say enjoy life, but then to enjoy the company of your family and friends
Mm.
and partner as well. So I think it's a really
Yeah.
good shift in terms of mindset over there.
Yeah. And I guess I can really feel that change because the second time that I have to come back here, so the
Mm-hmm.
first time I had to come back to Indonesia was during COVID. And basically, I was so in denial about the whole thing.
Mm.
But now that I kind of like, my visa expired and I had to come home,
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, okay, that's okay. You know,
Yeah.
we can find something to do. We
Mm.
can we can do it. And I've made, I guess talking about money as well. I even now, of course, I want to accumulate wealth. I want money so I can, like have a good lifestyle that I want.
Mm.
But I've made really, really bad financial decisions before, like really, really bad, put me in such a bad situation. And that made me realize that it's not everything. You can, you can lose all your money, but you can get it back.
Yeah, that's right.
But, like with relationships, once you
Mm.
burn it, you might not get it back again.
Yeah.
And I guess the same with like career, everything you want to do, um, your forgotten passion that you abandoned, you can always start over. And you can always do it again and again.
Mm.
Money can be made, and you can always learn new things. Even now, I'm picking up a new language, and hopefully that can be something in the future.
Mm. What language are you learning?
I just started Korean just
Korean.
recently.
Ah,
Yeah,
nice.
quite a few months ago.
Yeah.
It's hard. I think it's harder.
Yeah,
But I'm enjoying the process.
yeah, that's good to hear. And um, what would you say to others who feel like they are wandering through life without a clear path? Is there any advice that you can give to someone that hasn't figured out their plans yet?
Um, Honestly, not really because I'm still in this situation. But for you know, I'm I don't feel that lost. That that is the mindset that I'm trying to kind of like put in me. And I guess this can be an advice that I can give to people as well.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think as yourself as lost. Kind of just like what you said in the beginning. You know, you're just figuring out. It's okay to be lost a little bit, or it's okay to just do nothing, just being there for a little bit. Instead of viewing this as wandering aimlessly, try to see it as a chance to kind of like collect experience and insights. And I guess just be curious about what you're interested in. You might like gaming, and then you might like talking. You can just like combine both of them and maybe start streaming as a hobby.
Yeah.
And yeah, even though it might seem unrelated to your big plan, whatever you're planning.
Mm-hmm.
So just trust that these experiences will kind of like mix together, go together, and become like something rich, something good for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess another thing that I noticed from this whole like this whole ride,
Mm-hmm.
is the most interesting paths are often the ones that are a bit messy and unpredictable.
Oh, that's
So yeah,
right.
just embrace the messiness, as it can lead you to places that you never imagined you would go. Like me,
Wow. Wow, I like
it's
that.
over here.
Because I guess those messy path or those unstructured or unplanned path are the path that will actually leads you to see different things,
Hmm.
to see things that you never expect of.
Hmm.
So I think it's a really great journey to embrace for whatever it is
Yeah.
that comes to you. Just embrace
And
them.
I guess I can see the same value in you as well.
Yeah.
Being your friend for, I don't know, how many years now? 2 years? More than 2 years?
Yeah, about
Yeah.
that.
So, you know, because we've talked a lot about so many things, and I
Mm,
know that even you get lost sometimes. You just don't
mm,
know what to do.
yeah.
But you always find new things to do. You have your job, but then in your free time, you find other things. You take me to places and stuff, and it always made such core memories for me. Everything that
Mm,
you've took me to, like camping. I've never done camping before. You've never done camping before, but we did camping
yeah.
together, and we knew nothing how to how to do a camp, how to make a tent, but it was so fun. We had so many pictures, so many, nice memories. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's you.
I really love that. We should go camping again.
When I go back, let's do it.
Yes, yes. I'm waiting
I
for you
can
to come
drive
back.
now.
Right. One last question. What are the
Mhm.
some things that you want to experience or learn in regardless of where life might take you next? Because I know that now you are learning a new language, the Korean language.
Mhm.
And is there anything else that you would like to do in the meantime while
Mhm.
waiting for your return back to Australia?
Mm. um, this has always been, I guess, kind of a passion of mine that I
Mm-hmm.
never really got to improve. But I like photography, and I want to learn more about it.
Mm-hmm.
So photography and videography as well,
Yeah.
because I like documenting trips, things that I
Mm,
do, my traveling journeys, and I just want to be able to capture all the beautiful moments with my family and my friends.
mm,
And I want to learn how to, kind of like edit the videos as well, so I
yeah.
can compile everything into a really beautiful project, like a
Mhm.
reels.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
But you have been doing such a great job. in our previous
Really?
trips, documenting all the memories and all the pretty pictures and making them into
Yeah.
reels even. So yeah, I
Thank
really
you.
learned that as well. Yeah, you've been doing such a great job.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm very happy to hear that. And like a lot of my friends, they, whenever we go somewhere, they just let me capture everything. They help me take photos, they help me take videos, and then they just tell me to tag them on Instagram. That's it. They don't even take another photos. They let me do everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess people know and people have been enjoying what I do. So yeah, that feels good. And maybe another thing that I want to explore more is about growing a business, making and growing business.
Yeah.
So I know I have this Japanese course going on. I want to know how to make it bigger. I want to know how to actually run it better, and then maybe one in the future, at one point, I want it to run without me.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to study. I want to learn, and maybe start something different as well as a second gig.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, because like now that how many years has it been that you have this Japanese class business?
4 years
4 years?
since December 2020.
Yeah.
It's been a long journey.
Yeah, it's been a long, I mean it's a long journey but not too long, right? And definitely we want to see it grow and become better and hopefully one day it can run without you.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we are hitting that 30 minutes mark. Thank you so much, Yvonne, for coming into the podcast once again and really giving us a real glimpse of what it means to navigate life without a set blueprint. It's really refreshing to hear that being in a state of figuring things out can be just as fulfilling as knowing exactly where you are heading. Your perspective on exploring different cultures and embracing life uncertainty reminds us that growth is less about ticking boxes and more about being open to change and new experiences. So, for all our listeners out there, remember that it is okay to be a work in progress. So, if any one of you would be interested with Yvonne's journey and also her Japanese class, I'll put in her link below in the description. Otherwise, I'll catch you in the next time in the Unshakable Growth podcast, where every conversation reminds us to stay curious, keep learning, and enjoy the ride.
Thanks for tuning in the Unshakable Growth. Stay unshakable, and I'll catch you in the next episode.